You guys, so here is Jessie's before. We have been doing a really low maintenance balayage on her for a while. So she'll get a balayage, she'll get a tone treat trim a couple times. It's been very low maintenance. For a while we were toning her kind of almost like a strawberry blonde, rosy color for a little bit, so that's faded. So just she has a warm, dark blonde base to start with. She wants to be lighter and brighter and icier, so I am packing in the baby lights today and getting her as bright as I possibly can. I never compromise the integrity of the hair, so I am not going to push her further than she can go, but we're going to get her as light as we can while keeping her hair nice and healthy. So I am mixing Jack Winn Lightener with 30 volume and Olaplex. You can see I mix up pretty small batches. I like to do this because I like my lightener, especially when I'm trying to get nice and bright, to stay powerful. And if you mix too big of a bowl, I'm kind of a slow foiler. That lightener will start to oxidize and it won't process as bright as when it's fresh and new. As it sits in the bowl and oxidizes, it kind of loses its power. So I like to mix small batches, so I had to fill up my bowl a few times. You can see I am just starting with a mohawk section, taking itty bitty micro baby lights. She has a full bang, so you can see just how many foils are in the bang alone. That tells you how thin of sections I'm taking for this. Doing a micro weave, fully saturating with the lightener. I do like to turn my brush to the side up towards the top and just kind of feather it because I don't want that lightener to swell and give her any bleed marks or anything like that. And I am just working my way back on this mohawk section and locking the foils into place. So now we're moving on to the side of her head, and I am working in diagonal back sections off of her temple, and I'm doing the same thing, just nice little micro baby lights, feathering it up around the hairline and fully saturating it all the way through. I am pulling the lightener down through her ends for most of the pieces, only because, like I said, the balayage we've done on her so far, I have not lifted her ends like crazy bright by any means. So I really thought her hair could handle 30 volume with Olaplex from roots to end, so I am pulling it all the way through because she does want to be as light as possible. I am using Product Club tools and Product Club foils. So my brush is Product Club, my foils are Product Club, my comb is Product Club. I am a Product Club ambassador and I love their tools. So after I have been foiling for a while, I always like to go back and peek at those first foils because, again, her hair is dirty blonde, virgin at the top. It is not going to take much for it to get nice and light, so I do just like to make sure, again, I'm keeping the integrity of the hair, so I am always going back and checking. I just dropped that first one because it was still nice and strong, but I never foil a whole head without checking the first foils. I do typically drop that first section by the time I'm done with the back of the hair. For some people it is tedious, but I like the front to be nice and bright and I don't ever want it to be damaged, so I just kind of teeter on that fine line of bright enough but still never to the point where it starts to cause damage. And on this other side, I'm just also working diagonal back sections from her hairline. Here you can see this micro baby weave that I take. You could almost read right through it. It is a very, very thin weave. And this is what helps us get that really natural, light, bright blonde. It does take longer and more work to do these itty bitty foils, but it is just so worth it. There's nothing prettier than a whole head of little bitty baby lights. If any time I think that I have too much product up by the scalp, I would just take my Product Club blending brush and kind of just soften that line a little bit so that she doesn't have any foil stripes or anything like that. So again, I'm going back and checking these first foils, just kind of combing through. Once you drop the foil, there's no point in spraying it with water or anything. Once it hits the air, it starts to kind of dry out and it will stop working. So you just need to drop the foil. I do like to wipe it clean so that it doesn't fall and leave like blotches on the uncolored hair, but I just wipe it clean, comb it out, and then I let it just kind of dry out and it stops working. In this back section, it's kind of hard to get these tight against the nape of the neck, so I am using my Product Club balayage board. I like to just tuck my foil on that, and you can see I'm doing a bit more of a rooted highlight back there, or kind of like a balayage. It's not as essential for it to get all the way up to the root. It's kind of more natural looking if in the back you have a little bit more of a rooty look. So I am always conscious to go back and check those foils in the front, and I am just working in little bitty baby sections all the way up the back of the head. I change directions of my sections a lot. I kind of just do this at random based on the shape of her head, but I think that when you do little sections like this that change the pattern of the direction that the highlights are going, that's what gives it that really natural organic look. There's no consistent stripes or blocks or anything like that. Here's kind of just the idea. You can see all the different directions the foils are facing and when I start to shift and work on angles. You can see these pieces get to about a level 9.5. We don't ever want to get to that level 10 stage. There's no protein left in the hair at that point. So I just get it that nice, really pale yellow color. You can see these are nice and bright. That's why I'm continuing to drop them. I will do this until I hit, a little bit of warmth still, and I want to let those keep going. I do like to work nice and neat in these sections. You can see I do just use my bare hand, but I wipe it off in between sections, so it's not like I have lightener, bothering my fingers or anything. And it's been sitting for a while, so it's not super duper strong. Now here is where the magic happens. Now everything that is not in a foil, so all those little micro in between weaves that were left out, I like to balayage the end of those. I just think this is like so pretty. It like looks like a work of art, all those intricate foils and then with the painting. And so this just adds a little bit more boost to her ends. You can see how dark those ends are that are left out. So this is just going to give a nice balayage look to those. And this is just what gives you more of this like modern new looking blonde where it's still blonde everywhere, but it's even blonder on the end. So that kind of looks lived in, almost like those ends have seen a few different summers, and that's why they're so bright. Here is just kind of a look at what we have going on, and there's a lot happening. These blondes just like give me life. I love big projects like this that is just packed full of foil, packed full of lightener. And I always like to be careful as I'm balayaging those ends not to go up any higher than the foil because you don't want any stripes. And then of course I had to get a couple clips of this very satisfying foil pulls. I just love the way foils look when they come out like this, especially when they're this blonde. I just think it is so satisfying. Alright, so we head back to the bowl. I am using Fanola No Yellow shampoo. This is their vegan formula. It smells amazing. The other one smelled kind of nasty, but this new vegan formula, I don't think I've talked about this on my YouTube channel since my last review. They have since sent me their new formula and I'm obsessed with it. It is so pigmented, it's really toning, and it smells so good, which that was my only complaint with the original. You can see using more shampoo than I would on the average person just because I really want to get that purple pigment evenly distributed. I am still going to tone her, but she wants to be really icy. She said she didn't mind if she was overtoned, so I really used all the cool tones. Here is her toner formula, 09V, 09P, and 09T. One of those bottles must have been almost out. That's why I have two different 09Vs. So just equal parts of the three of those, and then I mix that with processing solution and a 1/16 of an ounce of Olaplex and apply that back at the bowl. You can see I apply this toner into my hands and kind of scrub the nape of her neck. That is a part that gets forgot about a lot, and especially when you're doing such an icy toner, you don't want to leave that out or they'll have really yellow stripes down there and you don't want that. 09P, 09T, and 09V are just like the best blonde formula ever. Okay, so now for her root smudge, I am doing 07NB and 04N. And I just tap this on the roots. We want this to grow out, not stripy at all, and since we did so many highlights up all the way to her scalp, we didn't really do a rooted highlighted look. I do like to just deepen the root a little bit with a smudge root. Sorry, the angle for this isn't the best. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. I do like to tap that at the root, and then I like to take a wet brush, or I'm using my bath pack brush, and kind of just work it through a little bit. Be careful not to brush like too hard because you don't want to pull that dark root color all the way down, but I do like to just blur it a little bit. This is kind of cool how it's focused in the mirror because now you can kind of see what I'm doing better. I don't even think I did that intentionally, but you get a good view of what I'm doing, which is kind of nice. And then when it comes to her bangs, I like just hardly even tap it. So I don't leave the bangs out, but I don't feather that down very far or smudge it very far. And you can see she is kind of overtoned from that 09V. She's a little bit lilac-y looking while she's wet, and I love that. So now I'm just cross-checking, working in the opposite direction, and just tapping that root a little bit more. So yeah, you can see what I actually did with that bang was I left it out for the first few minutes, and then at the very end I tapped it on and then let it process maybe 5 minutes. And now I am just doing a nice little blowout. I am using my wet brush, round brush, and my blow dryer. I did a post about it. It's like the, I believe, FHI Hot Shot or something like that. I love it. It doesn't have a handle. I love it as a blow dryer. And now I am curling Jessie's hair. I did spray a little bit of Matrix Heat Buffer for heat protection and a little bit of Amika hairspray. I am working in some Sexy Hair Powder Play Light to give her lots of volume, and you guys check out this icy goodness. Compared to that before, my gosh, this is beautiful. Gotta get the picture for the gram, always. Like I said, it's gonna be a few appointments to get her like fully platinum, but what a difference this is. She is so bright, so light, and so much better than the before. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, leave them down below. If you are not already subscribed, I would love to have you. I will have all the rest of my social medias linked down below as well. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch one of my videos, and I will see you on my next one.